Are you looking for a Java developer and you have no clue where to start, how to find a highly qualified Java developer, how to screen him or her, and then how to introduce this person to your hiring manager, to your client? Well then, in that case, let me walk you through a recruitment process step by step. I'll show you a few steps highlighted in the IT Talents book together with the mind map. So how to even think about this role of a Java developer. So stay tuned. All right, cool. So first things first, when I'm talking to a client, I usually like to understand who exactly are they looking for, because Java is just a programming language which could be used for multiple purposes. So you can also see on our mind map, the very high level mind map, that Java as a language can be used for example, backend web development, but also for mobile app development. So whenever I look at some of these mind maps, I try to think who exactly is the hiring manager looking for, who is the ideal candidate. Same with C# or JavaScript, right? These are just languages, and programming languages can be used by software developers for different purposes, whether it is mobile app development or website development or desktop application development or whatever else, right? IoT, robotics, etc. Data science, for example. But let's stick to Java for now. So the first thing I would like to understand from the client, from the hiring manager, is the technology stack. What technologies do they use in their current project, and what exactly the candidate will be working with as soon as he or she starts. So this is one of the common mistakes in job descriptions, listing all those frameworks or tools that the candidate should be aware of. But I like to take a different angle and first think, what exactly will the candidate work with as soon as he or she starts in this particular company, on that particular project. And you can also see some of the frameworks here on this mind map. For example, for web development, we know there are frameworks, for example, Spring, and you can also see it's trending these days. Probably you can see it here with this flame, which indicates it's quite popular these days. Also, I don't know, Google Web Toolkit or Quarkus, right? Also with this tiny little emoji. So I like to understand what tools will the candidate be working with. So that's the technology stack. And then I move on and ask the client to tell me a little more about the project, the team. So I learn a little more about how they operate. What is their work methodology? Because good developers, the senior Java developers, want to join teams that are more advanced, right? Advanced in terms of their adoption of DevOps best practices. I like to, for example, ask a few questions from the dual test. So if you are not familiar with the dual test, I have also recorded a quick video because in fact, when I was the CTO, we also used the dual test, and we wrote the results of the dual test in our job descriptions to attract some of those really good, highly qualified candidates. And we can also look at the IT Talents book and see what else can we find in regards to the Java developer roles. So you know, first things first, you need to understand that Java is not JavaScript, right? Despite the same four letters, Java and JavaScript. So there is also this tiny little doodle that explains that both Java and JavaScript can be used for backend and front-end development, just for different use cases. So when I look at Java, on the backend, we can see Spring, Hibernate, and Jakarta. Probably you can see it like this. Probably, yeah. Does the autofocus work? Okay, you can see it here. And on the front-end side, Java is used to build Android applications. Okay, and JavaScript is completely different. On the backend, it's Node.js. On the front-end, it's React or Angular. But let's leave this aside. So so this is just on a high level to understand what framework do they use in their company and what exactly the candidate will be working with. And then I like to think about something really exciting, something unique, because there are so many companies out there looking for Java developers, and I like to think about something, exciting to talk about, to tell a little story to the candidate, because that's what sells at the end of the day. Say if you have 10 or 20 different offers, the candidate needs to get emotionally attached to just one of the offers, which is your probably, and this is the way how to sell those positions and vacancies. So when I was the CTO, I was spending extra effort and investing more time into figuring out how to sell our company, how to sell the team, how to sell the opportunity at hand. And that's also probably the reason why so many people, so many developers relocated from US or UK or Australia, New Zealand to Bangkok, where we had headquarters. And the way I was thinking about it was, to highlight either the team and its specifics, like who exactly will the developer be working with. So in this case of a Java developer, I would be also thinking the same. And I would ask the hiring manager, tell me a little more about your team. Tell me about the other superstars he or she will be working with. And the fact is that developers and IT professionals in general want to work with some senior people who can mentor them, who can explain the technology, because it's constantly evolving, right? And the other thing I like to do is to completely rewrite the job description from scratch, because it's usually full of fluff. And whenever I look at the job description, I try to identify what are the key terms, what is really, really must have, and the rest I just completely remove. And instead, I create some advertisement that is more focused on the team, as I mentioned just a while ago, or something exciting about the project or the product, or anything else about the company. Probably it's a growing startup, expanding, probably an interesting product they are working on, probably something hyped these days. So that's how I then create the job advertisement, which is then offered or posted on social media to potential candidates. And the best part, which is exactly what I enjoy most, is then getting on calls with candidates and selling the opportunity. So generally, from my experience, they just want to know on a high level what technologies are used. So it's Java on the backend, Spring Framework, what version of Java probably, hopefully not the most oldest one, right? But some of these newer versions of Java, and then probably the adoption of the best practices. So what of these tools do they use, if any? What tools on the front end, what tools on the back end? Jakarta Enterprise Edition, etc., right? So if you just don't know, probably J2EE was renamed to Jakarta Enterprise Edition. So this is also what you as a recruiter, as a headhunter, talent hunter should know, because this indicates you are the professional IT recruiter, right? And we also happen to organize training sessions for fellow recruiters, headhunters, exactly on how to become a professional IT recruiter. So if you'd like to level up your recruitment skills, you can also join our upcoming class. You can just go to training.gigrecruiters.com and join the next class. If you'd like to get a mind map booklet, like this booklet with all these mind maps, then you can also just go to our store, where we also have this book, IT Talents book, which is about 120 pages on the most important terminology, acronyms, mind maps. So wherever I open it, there is some doodle or a mind map or something that helps you remember these terms. Because at the end of the day, there are not that many terms, not that many frameworks, not that many languages. So you can learn this even if you haven't worked in IT for so many years. And in fact, I've been working in IT for over 15 years, and I still don't recall all the frameworks, languages, tools, IDEs and whatnot. So that's also why I have created these mind maps, like also for me, right? I use them when I'm on calls with software developers or hiring managers. Sometimes I just quickly, go to, a C# development landscape, and I can ask questions to hiring managers like, hey, do you use Xamarin? sometimes when I don't recall the name, I just, okay, quickly here, Xamarin. So I know what to ask. Or what testing frameworks do they use? I like, oh yeah, do you use Unity? Yeah, okay. Or probably some other. So this is how I use this in practice, and it's super helpful. So if you'd like also to level up your skills beyond the training, you can just go to our shop at geekrecruiters.com and get some of these tools, some of these mind maps, some of these booklets, ebooks, etc. created for you guys who are struggling and hustling and trying hard to get and fill more IT positions. So with that, I'll wrap it up. I'll be posting more videos, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a wonderful day. Cheers.